GRIDLIFE iRacers enters its final round of the season at a familiar racetrack to many of those in the field. This is Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, just about 2.5 hours north of GRIDLIFE's headquarters in Chicago, Illinois. But this racetrack, it's known for being the National Park of Speed, and I call it the Jurassic Park of motorsports. You find yourself lost in the woods here and hear engines of all sounds and sizes, and no truer than tonight. We've got two classes, Porsche 992 Cups, and we've got our GT4 field as well. And one last round of the season, and though we have been tracking points this season, Finian, it is not much of a battle up at the front. DJ Alessandrini slamming the field in that 992 category, and none other than Tom O'Gorman doing just the same in GT4.
Yeah, I was going to say for DJ Alessandrini, he's effectively slapped the field, ran around the track, and then slapped the field again because he has an entire two-race lead over second place. So it's pretty much a non-factor for Porsche Cup. GT4, a little bit more closer of a battle, but even then, Tom O'Gorman almost has an entire race lead over everyone else in that standings. And that's too surprising. Those two have clearly been the class of the field in both classes.
And weather so far today, we're a little bit cloudy out there, but temps are very, very low indeed, so the grip level should be quite high. Here's a look at Road America up in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. 4.048 miles. It's a long way around. 14 corners. It all starts with a high-speed section from turns 1 to turn 5. That's where the Porsche Cup cars will have the easiest time passing the GT4 field, but things get a little bit hairier from turns 6 down to the kink, where handling comes into play.
It really is. You're going to see potentially a lot of potential accidents between the both classes as we get down to it. Potentially as they get through there, it's going to be tough to make some passes, even just for position in your own class. Then as you head out of there through the kink into Canada corner, that could be one of the most treacherous corners for these drivers tonight. Trying to make moves down at a very high-speed section of track, coming down to a very slow crawl, and then heading back through the Bill Mitchell bend, and then down to turn 14, and then back up the hill to the start-finish line.
Before that big tunnel under turn 13, it was the Billy Mitchell Bridge up there that would cross the racetrack above the circuit with a big concrete abutment. That was removed because of its dangerous spot on the outside of that turn 13. Turn 14, always critical, and that is a look at Road America here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Final race of the season before we get to go play with some of the new features coming to iRacing, including rain next week. So we'll be doing some more broadcasts to really explore the limits of iRacing's new rain system. That is planned to be with GT3 cars for now, but schedule TBD. Very excited for that, very excited for this. Let's head down to the racetrack here, Finian, and get qualifying coverage underway as drivers are on track right now, putting in times up on the board before we get racing here tonight. It is a long way around, over 2 minutes, as Raul Iriarty has found himself stuck the wrong way around. Austin Cobb, who was chasing Tom O'Gorman in the GT4 standings, has now elected to jump in the Porsche Cup car for this final round.
Yeah, it's a little bit of fun, change it up, a little bit of a change of scenery. We'll see how Cobb can do. One of the quicker guys, if it hasn't been Tom O'Gorman up in the front, Cobb's been riding behind him probably more times than he would particularly like. But Austin Cobb, definitely one quick driver we've seen many times storming anything. He's usually up near the top, and at the moment, the first Porsche Cup car around, and we'll take provisional poll. We'll see who's going to be able to beat him. Kevin Du, Brian Lyons, the next car is coming in. Samuel Scott, the first driver in GT4 at the moment.
Yeah, Austin Cobb, Alabama boy, up at the pointy end for a bit. And as always here in the GRIDLIFE iRacers series, there are numerous drivers that compete with us in the real world. There are too many to note, too many to list, but just to grab a couple champions from last season, Dana Basinski in his green Porsche Cayman. He's our Falcon Club TR champion from 2023. Ido Waxman, our defending Street GT champion. He will also be competing in Street GT again this season. Kevin Wendt is here. Piero Pucci has an FRS that has one of my control arms on it from a couple of years ago. He is here as well, putting his qualifying lap up in the Porsche Cup category. Of course, DJ Alessandrini, Time Attack, and past GLTC competitor. Austin Cobb in GLTC, Kevin Zhu in GLTC, Alex Artayet in Time Attack. So it really is a list of the who's who in GRIDLIFE. Dewey DeWitt, Andy Volkel, Shane Patza, Thomas Moss, Thomas Lathrop, and more. And, of course, Tom O'Gorman.
You can't forget about Tom O'Gorman, especially because that car is usually up near the front in the 94 machine, the 94 BMW. And I got to say, really, considering that most drivers typically shaft on the BMW, we ended up picking it up and put that BMW near the front. And I think he actually might be the only BMW in the field.
Yeah, he's been a bit of a contrarian in the car choice, but something has clicked with Tom in this BMW, and I like this car at this track. I think it's a good choice, and he hasn't switched. It would have cost himself some points to do any switch and swap far as the car is configured. So
it is pretty monotonous at the top of the GT4 standings. It's McLaren, McLaren, Mercedes, 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 McLaren, Mercedes, McLaren, McLaren.
Wow.
So it's very, very same for the top 10 in that class. I think Tom O'Gorman might be the one to upset that balance. He has not put a time in yet. Coming to the line, there's the only Aston Martin in the field.
I was gonna say it's what's the Jack Black rarer than a there's some Kevorkian something or other.
Sure.
Let me see if I can find out.
I'm not sure.
Rarer than a Stradivarius is what I was looking
yes.
for.
Yes.
That's this car Mike Leader's got behind the wheel tonight. And Tom O'Gorman goes to the top in GT4 over Anthony Montello in the number 268 McLaren. I would expect this McLaren to be pretty hard to beat on the straightaways, though, tonight, even though that BMW is pretty good.
Yeah, it's going to be typically see that McLaren is usually the winner when it comes to top line speed. We've seen a couple of McLarens near the top of the order, so it's not too surprising. But of course, the BMW's got a bit of pep itself. Working through turn 6.
Yeah, we've had a couple of races here at Road America tonight. And before this broadcast, and the afternoon has been the dominant time of day. It has been at evening, sundown, on all of them.
At least these cars have headlights. That's a good.
Iriarty stole the pole away from O'Gorman by about a tenth of a second, so that's a great run there for our Raul. And how about back to Porsche Cup? Love this livery on Darian Taggart's car, this Tag Heuer livery.
Is he slowing down?
Yeah, he is. He's already qualified 4th. I think he's not finding any more time on the board, so he's going to come to a stop. Andrew
I'll tell you
Rasmussen.
what, he didn't qualifying for Porsche Cup, even though, as usual, DJ Alessandrini's at the top of the standing. It's pretty close in behind. Austin Cobb only 2 tenths behind, and then a couple tenths past that is Christian Aranja. We've seen Aranja be pretty much second best in that class. So throwing Austin Cobb in the mix, I think we might have a decent fight for that class still, really the overall victory. GT4 is also looking pretty close. Anthony Montello, 18 thousandths of a second off of Tom O'Gorman, third in class.
Really tight in GT4. It's a very, very close battle. Really only a couple hundreds between most of the cars at the pointy end. As Richard Sawicki jumps up to 11th, he just comes fresh off a podium in an SCCA esports race that we just called a little while ago. Jonathan Crane right behind him. Dana Basinski and Thomas Lathrop are still making some laps. Basinski across the stripe. Didn't record a time that time through. Here's Lathrop in the Mercedes AMG with the Condor Speed Shop colors on the side. And he will not get back to the stripe before this time is over. Neither will Andrew Rasmussen in the 14. And I will have to reboot my graphics. A latecomer here will force me to kick things off again. I knew someone would join late.
Yep.
It's just the way that these multi-class graphics are built. But in the meantime, we've got qualifying complete. It's Alessandrini and Raul Iriarty on pole for our respective categories, Finian. So we're getting pretty close to firing up here for our final 30-minute race of the season in this 7-round championship.
I was going to say, these guys have done a fantastic job here, really. There's been some great racing all season long. I mean, really, as far as the results columns are concerned, it's mostly the same. But the racing out throughout the rest of the midfield, there's been some fantastic battles, people putting up fights, duking and diving all throughout the order, and just really entertaining racing all throughout this very short season that we run.
And we've had a pretty successul go at race starts. Now, I say that knowing...
you should have waited.
It's the last race. I can say what I want. I mean, going back to Okayama, that was... I thought for sure we would wad up some cars there, and we did not on the start. So that was all awesome news. In just a moment's time, we're going to head down to the racetrack, and we'll get you through a very quick reading of the starting lineup. I don't think we're going to get a lot of time because of the short pace lap here. So let's read that to you now. Kicking things off on the front row, it's DJ Alessandrini, Finney, and Austin Cobb will line up alongside him.
Yeah, moving on back to row number 2, it's going to be Christian Aranja in 3rd and the number 3, Darren Taggart in the 13 lineup in 4th.
And starting 5th place is Franz Hansen in the 44. Ido Waxman starts 6th in the number 28.
Moving on back to 7th place is going to be Kevin Zhu in the 243. Next to him, Peter Zhang in the number 11 and 8th.
And 9th place, it's Brian Lyons in the number 30, and Alex Arteat starts 10th in the number 77.
Richard Sawicki rolling off 11th in the 528. Next to him, Jonathan Crane in the 8 car in 12th.
And behind them, it'll be Ryan Engel in 13th, the number 25, and Louis Zendaha in the number 20. He rolls off 14th. Take me through the GT4 grid here, Finian.
Yeah, we got a nice even row. So we got Raul already starting in 1st in the 41. Next to him, Tom O'Gorman starting 2nd in the 94.
And behind them in row 2, it's Anthony Montello in the number 268. Sam Scott rolls off 4th in the 85 car.
Back in 5th is gonna be Michael Montello in the 65. Next to him, Zach Rubin in the number 9 in 6th.
And behind them in 7th and 8th, it's Will Salisbury in the number 31. Haven't seen that name in some time. Good to have him back here. And Jean Sirota starts 8th in the number 12.
And Talzadik going to be rolling off 9th into 33. Jane Burke next to him in the number 5 in 10th.
11th place, Andy Vogel in the number 2. Thomas Moss starts 12th in the number 16. And we'll just roll down the rest of the order for you because we have a very short pace lap. And we'll turn them loose here in just a moment's time. Not even time to warm up the tires. You're going straight to
I was going to
green.
say, that is going to be a big concern for these drivers. That's first lap, getting the tires warmed up because you got a corner to warm them up and you're ready to go.
Well, there is your entire starting lineup as the field leaves the final turn 14. This will be a very important lap, a very important corner, I should say, in about 15 laps time. That's how much time we've got on the board. 30 minutes of 15 laps. It'll be that time that restricts us, not the laps. We could go more if we go faster. Alessandrini out front. He's already got the championship effectively locked, but we're going racing at Road America.
And out they go 3 wide already in the middle of the field. That's going to get dicey heading down into turn 1.
I don't like the looks of that, especially midfield here in the Porsches. They're going to get it sorted. Brian Lyons in the 30 to the inside of the 8.
Look at GT4. They're 3 wide for the lead, and it's going to be the 41 Aurelio Iriardi who'll win out. Tom O'Gorman having to go in the grass to avoid contact as Anthony Montello took them 3 wide on the outside. Montello racing O'Gorman for second place.
How about the looks of that as they leave turn 2? Nicely done again in the starts of this race. I guess it's not over until we get through turn 5, though. But I didn't jinx the field like everyone thought I would. Look at Tomo now. Drag racing. Iriardi, whoa, big wiggle.
Oh, that got very dicey there for a second. That almost ended up being a big wreck. Up at the lead, Iriardi and O'Gorman making contact after Montello hit the back of one of them. And one car in the grass is Franz Hansen off in the gravel off turn 5.
Yeah, hopefully they get it cleared by the time the GT4 field gets down here.
Not quite. Waxman joining just up in front, trying to get back on the track. He has to bail out and let them on by.
Up into turn 6. This is a tricky corner because it's a blind entry. The track falls away through there, but the field nervously tiptoes their way through. A couple cars tangled up here. Thomas Moss is one of them. There's the 16. But it is fierce out there in GT4. Iriardi steals the lead back. I don't know what the little wiggle was on the back straightaway as Ryan Engel is off to the left there out early. But that was an odd-looking shake and shuffle by the 41.
Yeah, it was Mike Montello got into the back of him.
Okay.
And then he went into O'Gorman. So that almost ended in disaster for this class, but they'll race on through O'Gorman all over the back, and then McLaren just up ahead. Michael Montello in behind as well. Sam Scott, Anthony Montello, your top 5 in GT4. Off
into Canada corner now, O'Gorman right behind the 41, and I guess we're going to get to see what McLaren versus BMW looks like. It's a Porsche of Montello in 3rd. All the while at the front in the Porsche 992 category, Alessandrini leads, perhaps to no one's surprise, but Austin Cobb and Christian Aranja, who's been Alessandrini's best battler, I should say, he's sitting 3rd, not too far back.
This is where it's going to be interesting. It's really going to, I feel, come down to these 3 cars here in this class. They're really the strongest cars, I would think, in this class at the moment. So it's just going to be a matter, can Cobb and Arana keep up with Alessandrini, and can he break the draft? As you look a little bit further down the order, Jonathan Crane, Luis Indeas, and Richard Sawicki in the 520 trying to make some noise around the outside in turns 2 and 3.
Still a little door-to-door back here for about 9th spot. GT4 up front, they've sorted it out for the time being. Here's Asmat Muhammad making a pass on Adam Koback in the 38, and then the 53 of Mike Leader on the outside in that lone Aston Martin Vantage AMR. There he is, and Sadiq and Koback were both wrecked in the race that we were talking about a little bit earlier in that F4 Series race for the SCCA, and hoping to turn their luck around. They're at the same track, so maybe they can get a little further along in the race tonight. Yeah, hopefully they can as you head on lap 2, and very close. You can see this is the front of the GT4 field. They're all very much nose to tail using that slipstream to really stay together. The Porsche Cup cars, meanwhile, much more spread out between that class. Up into turn 6. And for the lead in GT4. Oh, Iriardi's a little wide. Drops a tire in the dirt. We'll see if Tomo has an advantage here on the outside into turn 8. I don't love trying to make a pass out here unless you can hold the overlap into the carousel. Then it's going to be game on between those two, but Tomo can't quite keep that big barge of a BMW up on the outside.
Yeah, it's way too big, and it's just so hard to get these cars rotated in such a slow speed corner like that. So just couldn't maintain the car on the outside to be here on the inside into the kink. Well, they were already struggling through the carousel. He lost a little bit of time. O'Gorman looking back on him before the kink, and he'll actually have to back off before he gets there. Looking off of Sam Scott in the 85, riding on board in fourth, in behind Michael Montello.
Yeah, the McLaren navigates the kink very well, and Tom hasn't really been able to do much with it. Here's Anthony Montello late on the brakes on Sam Scott there. That's that yellow and blue car, and he's through, makes a pass, and has Will Salisbury in the Mercedes AMG right behind.
O'Gorman looking to the inside in turn 12, or turn 13, I should say. Well, alongside that, that's a very tricky part of racetrack to be side by side.
See, again, McLaren so fast on the straightaway, though. We'll see if in the draft is even going to do him any good. If there's anything Tom hates the most, it's getting out-dragged on a straightaway because the driver can't do anything about it.
Well, he picked the car that has probably the most similar properties to a refrigerator.
That is, yeah, well, there is that.
Well, you can visually see how much bigger that car is on the straightaway.
And even the Porsche. I mean, that thing's little in comparison. It's like a Hot Wheels car. The Porsche 708 Cayman GT4 Club Sport MR. And up in the Porsche category, Cobb back 7/10 from DJ. Christian Aranha 3/10 back from that. And Alex Arteyes found himself in the fence at the exit of turn 5.
It looks like he got away with it. Looks like it was just a spin, no real contact with the wall. I think just getting on the power a little bit too early, not enough traction. Around he went.
Yeah, just stepped out on him, unfortunately. Look at this. I mean, this is a traffic jam down here at 5. It's accordion effect and everything. And here's Jaden Burke in the number 5, chasing Zach Rubin.
Yeah, afternoon rush hour back home for everyone. Here at 7 o'clock in the sim.
Got home pretty quick today in Chicago traffic. That's not always the case.
I had to go venture off into the city in New York here.
Whoa, Tomo, look out down the inside. That was a surprise.
Yeah, still not done yet. Still trying to look to the outside. Don't think he's going to get really anything done there. So he's going to pull back in line behind the 41, but he's all over the back of here already. I don't think the gap for the lead is separated more than maybe 3-4 tenths of a second so far in this race.
Yeah, he really tried to get down the inside here. He's going to go for it in the kink. I thought he was going to go for it. There's trouble ahead, by the way. There's a Porsche off the racetrack. I think they're far enough up the road that he should clear by the time they get there. But look how good the McLaren is on that second half of the backstretch to 12.
Yeah, he's really good. Not able to keep up and tries to make a last-second dive. Couldn't quite execute it. He already goes out wide, though, and I think that's what O'Gorman wanted. He's going to look to the right-hand side again. He's going to be side-by-side here in turn 13.
Oh, Tomo right to the outside edge. He's got wins at Daytona and Sebring in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge, and for Iriarty, Montello, and more to get to race a driver like this, what a treat this is to watch. And then behind him for 4th and 5th, here comes Salisbury in the 31 up the straightaway, and then in the Porsches, look at this mess down into turn 3.
Yeah, the battle starting to heat up. Rich Sawicki a dive into turn 3, battling it out. Jonathan Crane, Luis Diaz was the driver that made a mistake the lap before. Looking back at GT4, though, O'Gorman getting completely out-drafted on the straightaway. The McLaren stretching its legs, going to take the lead back.
All that work that he just did unraveled almost immediately. Back Rubin off in the grass there, leaving turn 1, and then front 4 beginning to break away slightly. Back to this Porsche battle, quickly into 5. We're going to be playing whack-a-mole with this a little bit today with how much action is expected everywhere on this racetrack.
Brent Henson trying to make up ground from what happened before. You look at GT4, and here is O'Gorman on the back of the McLaren. You can see as they get to the end of the straightaway, he's in the slipstream full throttle and still actually losing a little bit of distance.
Up the outside.
Yeah, he's going to outbrake himself there. He's going to go wide. That's going to allow Michael Montello to try to make a move in his Porsche Cayman.
He tried.
Oh, make contact, door-to-door contact.
Yeah, he's going to have to let this Porsche go, Michael Montello. Maybe the Porsche's got something from the McLaren, but I don't think the BMW's got the legs it needs to make the pass where Tom wants to make the pass. He had it done and just got repassed again by the time they got to the end of the straight.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can imagine Tom just sitting there in his jersey. Come on, go, hey, go faster.
Just like real life sometimes. Oh, to the inside again. Look at him around the outside here. That was an excellent move.
Oh, going to give a little bit of contact back to Montello, and he'll skate his way on through past carousel. It's a bit of a gap now, almost a second back to, or I should say up to, earlier Iriarty.
Yeah, 9/10 of a second up to the class leader. I think he'll be able to run him back down, but it might put this battle on pause for a moment or shift the focus elsewhere. At the front of the Porsche field, though, Austin Cobb has kept Alessandrini very much in touch. They've ditched Aranha slightly, and it's 2.5 tenths between Austin Cobb and Alessandrini straight into the Wisconsin sunset.
Oh, I love the way the sun comes through the tree. It looks absolutely beautiful. And God, it's a beautiful sight for him because he's got the leader right in front of him. Of course, we'd like to be in front of the leader and make himself that, but he's still trailing DJ by just a couple tenths of a second, keeping him at bay, not letting him drive off. Much to probably DJ's dismay.
It's 10 minutes in. Here comes Cobb down the inside. Thought he was going to have a look at it, but not enough of a run. He will stay put for the time being. Now
I'm curious how Cobb is going to attack this. If he's going to try to make some moves on DJ, maybe just drive up behind him, kind of force him into a mistake.
If there's anything I've learned watching DJ, it's that if you have a chance, you've got to take it because you're more likely to make a mistake than he. And you want to have that mistake be ahead of him so he has to pass you versus behind him or you have to run him back down. Make him do the work.
Well, looking back at GT4, Gorman's trying to put in some work. He's caught back now 0.6 tenths of a second back to Iriardi, so he's closing that gap for a second. So is this gap closing.
He has put some time back in his favor for that battle for the lead in GT4. Kevin Zhu in the 243. And there was a little bit of drama in the background as the 20 Zendejas goes for a little bit of a slide at turn 8. Maybe there was some assistance here. Oh, nope, just locked up.
And actually just ahead of him, Franz Hansen, you can see there at the end of that shot, he was also out there in turn 8, outbraked himself. Looking back at the overall lead, Cobb, Alessandrini trailing each other nose to tail.
I'm setting up this last corner as best he can to build a run, and he got a nice run leaving the corner. He's just a bit too far back, I think, to have a swipe at Alessandrini before turn 1. There is a lot of cars dropping down the timing screen.
Crash in turn 8 in GT4. Zach Rubin seemed to be at the epicenter of that.
Oh, tags Andy Volkel and sends him around.
Looked worse than it actually was. Whoa.
It definitely did look worse than it was. You're right about that. But battles for the lead in both categories, 2 tenths between these two and 3 tenths between these two. So we'll keep bouncing around and trying to pick which one's the most exciting at the moment. And for the time being, I think, well, I have a battle for 9th. It's Sawicki and Hansen in Porsche 911 GT3. What is this car called?
The Porsche 911 GT3 Cup 992.
Gosh, so many numbers and letters. Like I'm back in elementary school, relearning it all over again.
I just find it funny when it comes to Porsche. It's like, what is that? 911. What's that? Also 911. What's that? Guess what? 911.
I before E, except after 911 GT3R 992 Cup.
I was going to say, we have technically 5 911s in iRacing as it stands between the old 991 and the 992 now.
Remember the days we didn't have any Porsches at all? Alex Artea, a little jump scare down there at the inside. And then back to GT4. O'Gorman has Iriardi lined up in the crosshairs here, and he has loaded the chamber of his number 94 BMW.
Only the OGs will remember the rough. The rough RT12, yes. That was the discount Porsche that we had before the license became available to everyone else.
Sprinting away.
He really does. I'm actually kind of amazed that Tom was able to catch back up to Iriardi, but I guess he's just able to make up that much time in the corners, while Iriardi can really stretch his legs on the straightaway. As I say that, though, he made a big mistake in turn 5. Here comes O'Gorman back to the inside in turn 6.
And this is that handling section I talked about earlier. If you can prevail here, you might be able to build enough of a gap that he can't run you down. Side by side through turn 7. This is high speed. Who's going to give? Nobody.
No one gives, although O'Gorman gets a much better run on that outside contact there as a bit of a hip check from Iriardi to Montello. Iriardi tries to do the switch back to the inside. Big dive for the McLaren, and he'll somehow make it on through ahead of O'Gorman. Wow.
No idea how he got that thing stopped. I thought for sure he was going to overshoot that. Tom even looked like he was ready to concede it to let him go by, but still side by side for the lead. And Tomo clears finally for the GT4 top spot.
However, that McLaren's going to be buzzing in his ear like a fly you just can't get rid of. He's going to come back at him potentially on this straightaway here, if not the run to turn 1, because that McLaren is so quick on this part of the track.
Tom did get a nice run through the kink, though, and the big commitment there and the experience level that Tom has.
Michael Montello was looking to the left side of Iriardi, didn't make a move.
Yeah, Tom's best friend is everyone behind this McLaren now. They can bring the fight to Iriardi and distract him a bit. Kevin Wentz just up the road, about to go a lap down.
I think Dom's going to be hoping he'd stay out in front of him for just part of the straightaway and get some sort of slipstream.
So 3 tenths back as they enter the straightaway. Let's see how much Iriardi makes up. Starting the IndyCar Dragon down the front straightaway.
Using everything he has, so we'll use a little bit of a slipstream from Kevin Wendt to stay up ahead. Then O'Gorman goes in front of Wendt to block him.
He knows how to play the game. Here he goes, back to the left, back to the right, back to the left again. He will hang on to the lead, and now the question is, can he do it again for another straightaway? If he can lead into 6, I think...
Wow, got a great run out of turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, this is where the skill that he's got and the experience is going to pay off, is extending this gap now that he can lean on his car.
Michael Montella made a bump to the back of Yardi. Here comes Anthony Montella making a move, and Michael Montella.
Well, brotherly love here to the left. Porsche's got some legs in the mid-range, huh?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's actually not too bad, but here it comes. See, you get to the end of the straightaway. This is where the McLaren gets a little bit more of a leg up, at least on the Porsche.
Oh, big wiggle from Sam Scott. He's going to go straight.
Bails out of it. Will Salisbury will get up to this 31 Mercedes AMG to 5th place if you look back. Caught the gravel there.
That is a scary feeling. And then how about this little scrum back here for about 10th spot? Gene Sirota, Asmath Mohammed, Eric Dewey DeWitt's back here, the number 70. That's that pink McLaren. He's got nowhere to go. Mike Leader, Andrew Rasmussen, all in this group, and Dana Basinski there in the back in the green Porsche. Swing left, swing right, swing center. Contact there from Leader to DeWitt. He keeps the car straight.
Car straight and keep on going. He's now side by side with the lone Aston Martin of Mike Leader on the outside in the King. You can see Dana Basinski. I can't say Dana Basinski. There we go.
Sound like me trying to say 911 GT3 Cup R 992. Oh boy!
Tested the brakes there. That was Dewey DeWitt going in front of Mike Leader, and Leader was sliding the brakes to not get thrown off the side.
Dropped the anchor there on him.
Yeah.
All right, so GT4 has been exciting for a couple of laps. Let's check back in on the Porsche class.
Well, speaking of class, we'll take you to school. I'm going to ask you some questions. Can you guess DJ's average starting position?
1.
Yes, correct. Can you guess DJ's average finishing position?
1.
Yes, also correct. You got 100. Yeah, all 5 races that DJ's ran in the series, he started on pole and finished in first. He's like the Max Verstappen of the series.
It's the only class I can pass. DJ Alessandrini School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Into the kink. These cars are such a blast around here. Look at how on edge they are. Aranha's keeping them honest through here as well, keeping all the front 2 drivers packed up and paired up together. And as soon as they start to fight, if they do fight, that number 3 Porsche will be right in the mix. Behind them, it's Taggart, Peter Zhang in the Turn-In Concepts car, and then Brian Lyons in the Valvoline livery. Again, I painted this a couple of years ago. I'm so glad to see these liveries still rolling around. Valvoline Game Night livery from our SEMA Las Vegas activation back in 2021.
I mean, hey, it's a pretty good-looking car. I don't see why not, right? How many people are driving it?
There's about 250 to 270 total. There's 3 different variants. There's red, blue, and white. The white one's the most popular of the 2. And for the lead, here comes Cobb to the inside of the Porsche of Alessandrini.
Well, I was expecting him to make a move this early, but I guess he's tired of waiting. That's going to force DJ a little bit off the track. Had a poor run out of turn 1. They're still side-by-side through 2 into turn 3. Yeah, we'll go, and here comes Christian Aranha all over the back of them now in 3rd.
Yeah, O'Gorman stretching the gap in GT4, so while we were watching that category the first couple minutes of this race, back up to the Porsches for the pointy end now. Here comes DJ with a nice big run, and he's actually going to nose ahead of Austin again for a moment into the braking zone, but Austin should have the preferred line. DJ drove in really deep there, though, into 5.
Yeah, he almost actually was able to get ahead before the turn-in point, but the 136 to Cobb was just too close, couldn't quite clear him. Here comes Cobb back in turn 6 for a little bit. Now they go through turn 7. DJ's got just a nose ahead. I think Cobb's going to back out. He will.
Yeah, he had to concede there. DJ's wide, though, and Austin's going to jump to the outside. And if he can hold this here, the carousel's a very long right-hander.
Yeah, this is tough, though. Turn 8. Yeah, it's really hard to keep along that outside in these cars that are so slow through that corner. So Cobb will settle back in behind, but that was definitely a very good attempt.
Yeah, he got past. I mean, he had DJ cleared, but DJ repassed him again on the outside of 5. That's not an easy feat. I think Austin could be a little bit more aggressive on the brakes. That seems to be where DJ's beating him at the moment. But that's hard. I mean, if you outbrake yourself in this car, it is a bad day. 160 miles an hour in the braking zone here. 160 plus.
Also, want to give you a little bit, go back to school a little bit for one more question. So we have run 91 laps this season. Can you guess how many DJs left?
Going on a limb here. 91.
No, 90.
Oh. I was actually going to guess 90 just for the meme. It would have been amazing if I had gotten that.
I was kind of hoping you would, just to, like, because you would have.
I almost did.
Right, yeah.
I was flirting with the idea, and I didn't commit to it. So
yeah,
I guess you can't be
more
perfect.
on that page.
Yeah, it's like
I was like, oh wow, he's led almost every single lap.
Yeah, I guess just like Max Verstappen couldn't win all the Grand Prix, had to leave one just to make sure they didn't get BOP too hard. Huh?
Whoa. Austin got a little bit out there.
And 10 minutes to go. 5 laps to go, and they come back around to the stripe. Fox Artea in the shadow of Kevin Zhu on the front stretch. Here he comes.
Yeah. Close up to give him a bum draft. Going to look to the inside and turn one side by side, almost equal between both of these guys into the braking zone. Can Kevin Zhu pinch Artea? Oh, Artea sideways trying to get back on the power.
That was a scary moment. Things happen so fast in these cars, and there's so little to keep you from throwing yourself off a cliff. So, good call there. And the lead battle in GT4 is not done yet. Iriardi has driven away from Michael Montello. Any semblance of distraction is gone. He's got that Momo BMW lined up in the crosshairs out the windshield, and he has run Tom down a bit, so it might just be a 1v1 between these two.
Really depends how it's going to play out. And if these two get into a bit of a scuffle, they'll allow Montello and company to get back in. But yeah, the slipstream and the car advantage as well just really shows how much the McLaren can stretch his legs. And he's tucked right up in behind him in turn one.
Look at the sunset that Tom is not even caring about because he's got his eyes in the rearview mirror. Just got to prioritize his exits and just make sure he's not giving the 41 anything easy.
Well, we may want to look back at the overall lead. DJ Alcindrini catching up to some lap traffic in a very poor part of the track in turn 13. We'll just get around Kevin Wendt. It's another lap. Porsche came in up the road.
Gosh, Anthony Montello has had a big crash leaving turn 3.
And they had some contact with Will Salisbury in turn 3.
I was just pulled away from this, and they just came to cross each other and pow into the concrete. That is a huge hit. Yeah, they just two cars going for the same area of real estate there, unfortunately.
Yeah, really unfortunate because Anthony Montello's had some really good runs this season. Of course, he's going to end it in pit road, but looking back at the leaders, they were able to navigate the slower traffic for now. But actually, speaking of the traffic, they're not too terribly far from the rest of the field. Though, actually, slowly starting around out of time. We've got 8 minutes left in this race.
Yeah, getting down to the nitty-gritty here. Here's Franz Hansen and Brian Lyons scrapping for 6th place. Franz is going to go by on the right. And Jonathan Crane's in that purple car in the periphery here, so maybe he can come up and make this a 3-horse race for 6th place.
Lyon's not that brave on the brakes, so compared to Hansen, and he will go back up to 6th. And really, 44's been on a recovery drive ever since he made a mistake lap 1, turn 5. He's been on a recovery drive, getting his spots back. He's now back up into 6th. Looking back at the lead, Cobb making a little bit of a look up the inside in turn 6, had to back out of it, but these guys are still throwing blows at each other here and getting down to it.
Yeah, you have to start wondering if you're Austin Cobb. You know, every time he opens the door.
That's something so beautiful.
Yeah, it is really nice. You have to be aggressive on the brakes, more aggressive than DJ is, because if DJ's beating you in the brakes, he's going to beat you through the rest of the corner, too. So, Azmat Muhammad and Andrew Rasmussen, Mercedes-AMG versus Porsche here for 9th place.
Tough corner to be side by side through there for position. They make it on through. Muhammad up to 9th place. Rasmussen delegated back to 10th, though he's going to get a great run back on the front on the straightaway. And again, turn 14, it's a very critical corner because if you can get a good run out, you can have an attack back on the person that may have passed you. And here comes Rasmussen down the straightaway a little bit. I think that Porsche Cayman's got a little bit better performance on the straightaway than the Mercedes.
Wound up that thing, and it's going to work for him. He will make that pass. So jumping back to the 992 Cup lead. 6 minutes and 40 seconds to go, and Austin Cobb is within 0.3 of a second. The lead in GT4 is just 0.4 of a second. We're going to have a scrap all the way to the checkers, and in both cases, the championship leaders in their respective classes are leading the race with someone that is chasing them the championship, trailing them. Couldn't write it any better. Here comes Austin.
Austin Cobb looking up the inside in turn 1. He's trying to play with DJ here, trying to make sure, trying to force him to make an error. DJ keeps cool and collected, will stay up front.
Setting up turn 3, I think, could be a pretty key corner for Cobb. I think he's going to have to complete this pass in 5. I don't know that if you do it in 1, I think DJ will set you up and repass you just like he did the previous time. So, and also just keep an eye on Christian Naranjo in this number 3, this geodesic car in 3rd. If those two have a coming together, that 3 is going to pick up the pieces. And trust me, I've seen it happen.
Yeah, I'm sure Naranjo's waiting for that. He's been trailing DJ so much this season. I'm sure he can't wait to have one chance to get in front of him. Oh, no.
Andrew Rasmussen at turn 8. He was all by himself. And runs out into the gravel. And that's a common mistake. Bam, that's a big hit there, too.
Fortunate end to his day.
And back up to the front in the 992 class. One thing that Austin Cobb cannot afford is any interference from Christian Naranjo. And I think Christian knows that. If they fight for second, they're giving up the chance to win this race.
Yeah, it's all about bigger picture, right? Because these two can obviously fight it out for that position. But if they do that, they're going to lose out, like you mentioned, the chance of fighting DJs. I think we're going to see Naranjo play a game, play ball, up until the last lap. But I think once he feels that Cobb has no shot at the lead, or he has no shot at the lead, they can duke it out for second. But there's some more lap traffic. They're now starting to get more into the thick of the GT4 field.
They have at least 3 or 4 cars that they're going to catch in this next lap.
Yeah, there's a couple more cars down the straightaway too, past them. So this is where they're going to have to maybe start thinking now, because that was going to be another factor at play. They haven't faced all race because they're just catching them here in the last 5 minutes.
None of them have their headlights on yet either. Drivers can't control that. The McLaren does, but the Porsches do not. Not quite to sunset yet where the lights would have to be on, but visibility is a key thing. It's like driving home on the I-94 and you're mad at the guy for not having his lights on because you can't see him. It's not for you guys. It's for everybody else. All right, Austin sees this opportunity because all these cars ahead, they're going to catch some of them in the slower section of this racetrack, which can catch DJ off guard. If there's any time I've seen DJ struggle the most, it's when he's running away from someone chasing him through traffic. That's really the only place, because it's so hard to predict what and where you need to place your car. That's the easiest place to crack this shell that is Alessandrini up at the pointy end.
So Naranjo will also get past the lap car that is Andrew Rasmussen, we just saw spin out. And now they work on through 909.
And no battles in GT4 at the moment to other than Dewey DeWitt and Dana Basinski for 11th. So we'll keep you focused on the front here in 992s. Naranjo has lost a bit of ground there, didn't get through there very efficiently.
And trying to make up on it here. Oh, just when I was looking at GT4, Ariardi Montel was a little bit wide in Canada corner. They're up in the gravel, but they're still in behind O'Gorman, trying to chase him down as we ride on board with Austin Cobb. And they're going to catch this one car, Ricky Howard, an important part of the track in the cake. DJ going to floor it around the outside and try to get him by the head and lift a little bit.
And we could be coming back to the white next time by 2 minutes 46 seconds left. Here comes Austin Cobb feeling the pressure on the outside of Canada corner. That's going to be tough. DJ's in too deep. He's going to run wide. Here comes Cobb back to driver's right. He's going to make the pass. Can he clear Alessandrini? He does. And this could be within a lap of ending this race. It's going to be close.
It's going to be really close here. You'll see they come up the corner. Got 20 seconds to make it back there. I think they got just about enough time. Estimation is showing 50 laps. It's going to be extremely close. Here they come.
This is going to be close. Will the white flag wave? It's going to be within. I mean, we could get a checkers anyway.
Oh, I think we're good. Oh, we'll see.
Boy, 2 to go. Here comes DJ. Pops out to the right. And into traffic. Now Austin Cobb's got to bear the brunt of the traffic management here.
Yeah, you either work out really well or really badly for him, depending on where he catches them.
Iriardi's gone off. That will save Tom O'Gorman some heartache in a little while, I think.
He just threw it in way too hot into turn 5, Iriardi.
Slicing and dicing through traffic. Cobb's going to catch most of these drivers in a pretty easy spot and going to kind of muscle his way by that McLaren there and kind of bullied him off track a bit. Excuse me, sir.
We're there now through turn 6. Rano's kind of fallen off now, 2.5 seconds plus, not being able to get through the traffic quick enough. So the battle for 2 here up at the top.
Yeah, Tomo's got a nearly 2-second advantage now in GT4. Battle for 7 between Sadiq and Lathrop is still hot and being contested at the moment, but this is the volatile fight for the time being. 59 seconds to go. We should have a lap after this, but it's going to be tight. I think there is a provision for getting it checkered early should the time bleed away, but again, I don't think it will. We should get that extra lap that...
No, they haven't given up in a lot of time. They caught lap traffic in a poor spot and they bled some time. That would have been a factor, but they haven't really lost a whole lot of time in traffic, at least the 2 leaders have.
Oh, lots of traffic up the road here, too. This is Austin Cobb's worst nightmare. He spent the whole race trying to figure out how to get by DJ. DJ had one slip up. Austin grabbed it, took advantage of it, and now he's going to have to pass some of these cars in maybe a tricky spot. Maybe he'll get some on the straightaway here.
I think he'll get at least some of them on the straightaway at the beginning of this traffic here. You can set them up a little bit here. Here they go, run out of the final corner and up to the line. Less than 15 seconds remaining on the clock. I think we're going to have white flag this time by. There it is, white flag.
If DJ or Austin had given up a second or two here and a second or so there, that would have been the end of this race. But we will get another 4 miles of racing. DJ's back a little ways, but Austin's going to have to pick and choose carefully here into this traffic. Past Dana Basinski, Dewey DeWitt slams the door shut there in turn 1. DJ's going to have a run. Cobb jukes to the right.
That's not what Cobb needed at all. And here he's going to go through turn 3 with DJ right in behind him.
Yeah, I mean, Dewey did nothing wrong there. He's has to turn in at some point. Did everything he was supposed to do, but Austin was just hoping he would miss the corner and he would get through, but he was not able to. Now, how do you throw the block on DJ here? He's going to leave. Oh, he's going to go defensive to the left, force DJ to the right, passing Aston Martin to the right as well, and DJ is going to try to go the long way around. That's going to be a hard move to stick.
Yeah, and Austin knew he had to make a move before they got to the lap car, otherwise DJ could have pinched him in behind. But now here's DJ working on the outside in turn 6. If he can get a decent round of the corner, which he will, he'll get him past before turn 7.
Oh my gosh, and he will slam the door shut there. Austin let him get through 6, and that might have been the fatal flaw there. DJ muscles his way back by, and now down into turn 8. Alessandrini leads the race once again.
Cobb's just got to stick right behind here through the carousel and then through the kink. As one last decent shot heading to Canada corner.
Yeah, it's really going to be it. I don't think you can draft past someone on that final straightaway like we're running a Miata. This thing is a 500 horsepower rear engine monster. Last time through the kink here. Has to commit to it in a big way. He's off in the grass. He's going to keep his foot in it. He's going to have a run to Canada corner.
Here he's going to go. He's going to look to the right-hand side. DJ trying to block him off. Here he goes. Cobb up the inside.
This is it. He has been a little bit weaker on the brakes than DJ, but he's got the car there. Side by side through Canada corner. Checkered flag is imminent here. Door to door for Austin Cobb and Alessandrini. The championship is won. The war is won, but the win is this race. Here they come up the hill. Cobb down the inside. Checkered flag this time. It's going to be a drag race up the hill.
Cobb not a great run out of the corner. He's going to slip it behind DJ. Going to try to get some sort of last slipstream here.
Can't get it. Checkered flag. Austin Cobb is going to come up just shy, just short of a win at Road America in an epic battle to the end here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. That was spectacular. All the while, O'Gorman leads a long ways away from Montello, Iriardi, and Burke, but this is a battle for the podium in GT4. They still have nearly a lap to go.
Yeah, I was going to say they had almost an entire lap to go. The leaders couldn't quite get there in time, so this battle will continue for another half a lap. Iriardi, Jaden Burke, Sam Scott, all in a tow for that for third place, that final step of the GT4 podium.
Whoa, Iriardi goes defensive. Burke on the outside. Sam Scott trying to find a way around it. McLaren, Mercedes, McLaren, 3-4-5 here.
All those to tail here, and they're heading to the final few corners through Sector 2. And then it's going to be that run on the back straightaway. What we saw there with Austin Cobb trying to make a move. See Jaden Burke potentially trying to see if he can make a move on the McLaren. But again, we know that McLaren in a straight line is an absolute monster.
Yeah, but it only comes in at the end of the straight, really. So, you know, it's going to help Iriardi heading into Canada corner. But after that, I would pick the Mercedes as far as my car choice for those last couple of corners. Not going to matter because through goes Sam Scott to the inside at the carousel. And Will Salisbury is chomping at the bit now, even with damage on the nose of his Mercedes AMG.
Yeah, he got up to these three quite a bit in the last half a lap or so. Don't know if he can make too much noise. Might have a fight with Jaden Burke. Well, Iriardi and Sam Scott are going to duke it out, though, for third or fourth.
I think maybe Burke picked up a slowdown or something. He had to give way, unfortunately. So through
I think
comes.
he might be low on fuel. He doesn't have a black
too.
flag.
Yeah. That sucks. But maybe he was planning to go one lap short because.
Yeah, oh, that could be why.
Yeah,
that could be why, because we win that extra lap by just a couple seconds.
Yeah. So Tom O'Gorman up the hill, and he'll pick up a checkered flag here. Wins the championship, wins the race just like Alessandrini, and gets the job done at Road America. Outlasts a car that was superior to his on a straight line. That was Iriardi in third, but there's Michael Montello.
Oh, Sam Scott ran out of fuel too. Will Salisbury get past him for fourth place at the line?
Oh, man. Never understood fuel in the car for only one more lap.
Yeah, I was going to say, you should probably go, like, just an extra lap just in case.
I always do it like 5 clicks. That's probably why I'm so slow.
Hey, but at least you'll finish.
At least I finish if I don't crash myself along the way. Wow, what a race. The end of that was spectacular. Alessandrini, 79 thousandths over Austin Cobb Finney, and that was fun.
That was a fantastic race between these two. Props to them for battling hard and battling respectively. Christian Ronald finished in third. Sure, he wished he was more of a factor at the end, but didn't quite catch breaks with lap traffic. Taggart, Zhang, Hansen, Lyons, Crane, Zhu, and Sawicki rounding out the top 10 in Porsche Cup.
And looking down the rest of the order there's Alex Arteyet, Luis Zendejas, and then Rick Valdez down in 13th. And then all the Porsches behind that, there was only a couple of them, Engel and Albert Noah and Nito Waxman. They were out relatively early. Tom O'Gorman, man, what a battle he had in the early going against Raul Iriardi, but he was able to outlast and drive away in his BMW. Michael Montello second, Salisbury grabs fourth, and Sam Scott, Sadiq, and Lathrop your top 7, Finian.
Yeah, really a fantastic battle amongst those top 3, O'Gorman, Montello, and Iriardi in that class. Then you have Asman Mohammed finishing in 8th, Burke, Leader, Dewey DeWitt, Gene Sirota, Andy Vocal, Dana Basinski, Persing, Howard, and Andrew Rasmussen rounding out the top 17 in that class.
Yeah, there's the rest of the order here, Finian. And some of these drivers didn't have the greatest days. Zach Rubin, Waxman, Munoz, and more.
Yeah, and even Anthony Montello, too. We saw him get involved in that wreck with Will Salisbury early on after he was running in the top 5, and he was definitely not a happy camper being involved in that wreck.
All right, well, let's talk with our top 3 in each of our respective categories. Raul Iriardi comes home in 3rd place.
Yeah, I was going into 5.
Hey, how's it going? You were going into 5. I'll get that story from you here in a moment's time. I want to talk to you first about your battle with Tomo, because you went back and forth with him. I think you had the weapon of choice tonight with that McLaren. It was so fast on a straightaway, but ultimately you finished down in 3rd place. Take us through your battle up there with Michael and Tomo.
Well, I figured, since I wanted to have a shot, I figured I'd go with minimum wing so I could do some drag races. So I was taming that car with no wing, so that was sketchy, and it worked out because I kept up with Tom. But then a couple laps before the finish, I realized going into 5 that I might not have enough fuel. And I spaced out, not thought, missed my brake point. So that's when I went off. And then when I came back, it was just fighting with the gas tank just to finish a race.
Well, it was certainly a fun battle, and you guys have gone back and forth all season long, and it's been a pleasure to watch you race. What's that like, going door to door for so many laps, corner after corner? It seems like there's so much inherent trust up at the front of the GT4 field right now.
I think so. I think that's a big part of it. I know that Tom is a gentleman that will race all the way and push you, but not push you to the point where it's unsportsmanlike. So I really like that about racing with Tom. Yeah, man, it's just once you see a move is coming, you start getting ready to see what you do on the next corner to see if we can get it back, and that's the back and forth,
Well, it was so much fun to watch. Congratulations on a very strong season and a fun last round. It was a pleasure to watch you this season, and hopefully we'll see you around for some more racing coming up the next couple of weeks and beyond.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you. Now let's move on now to Michael Montello, who comes home second in the GT4 category, and who are slinging the Porsche around tonight. Maybe not the jackrabbit to have on this big racetrack, but you did everything you could. Had a good battle there with Tom and Raul. But take us through your evening this time with that number 65. Good points tonight to finish off the season, and certainly some fun battles with big smiles.
Yeah, no, I'm just glad that it was a competitive race, because before this, during practice, I was yelling at the screen, spinning every lap, just could not get this car to work for me. And it finally came together in the race. And yeah, that was really stressful, but a lot of good fun. There was a couple of moments where I I could have stuck my nose in somewhere and could have had a crash, but I just figured to hold back, keep it clean, and I would get a good result one way or another, and I think that's what happened.
Yeah, it was a great season and a lot of fun watching you battle up there at the front with Tomo and Raul and some others. So congratulations on a job well done. P2 for you tonight, and we'll hopefully see you around shortly.
Thanks.
Tom O'Gorman takes the championship and will end off the season with a win, and you had to work for it tonight, Tom. I was having a bit of a giggle watching you race that McLaren. He was down on basically minimum wing, and it was like your GLTC nightmares all over again. But this time you prevailed, and you stole it from Iriardi and Montello and drove away 4.8 seconds up the road. Man, that BMW, it's a barge, man, but you've managed to make it quick. Take us through your night this evening.
Dude, it was so fun. That was the most fun I've had in this game in a long time. I'm super happy to have raced with, Michael was killing it, Raul was killing it, Anthony was killing it earlier on. And so the first half of the race was just so good when it comes to good, honest racing. And then the second half was that kind of boring to watch but intense to do lapping where you just have to put in I don't know if you noticed, we did faster laps every single lap for 5 or 6 laps in a row, and I couldn't believe it. And then I noticed that Raul made the mistake, and then it sounded like the other guys had to fuel save a little bit to make the finish, which I got super lucky that I put in enough fuel because I thought we were going to do 13 laps and we did 15.
Well,
so
blame DJ because they were 2 seconds away from having 1 lap less.
Dang it, DJ. No, I blame Austin. Austin was in the lead, right? I blame Austin.
Only for 1 lap, technically. But
okay. I blame DJ then.
I was talking with Raul about his battle with you because going side by side in some of the corners here at Road America, turn 7 in particular, you have to have so much inherent trust. And I think it's different in a real race car than it is in the simulated world. How hard is it to get to that point when you're putting yourself right on his door and you trust that he's not going to run you off the road?
Yeah, that's part of why it was so fun is that Raul and I have never raced together in real life or anything, so there's not a real life trust. We know each other in real life, but I always say it's my job to know. It's not my job to know where the other car is. It's my job to lead them a place to be. And I try really hard when I'm side by side with someone. As long as they have a place to be, then I've done my job. And Raul did the same to me. We went side by side so many times. I knew that coming into this race that I was going to be at a straight line advantage because, for the same reason I raced the McLaren at Yokoyama, I stuck with the BMW for this race for the challenge. And he was super respectful, super hard to beat. It was a ton of fun.
Well, Tom, you won the championship and you won a whole bunch of races this season. Congratulations. So much fun to watch, this one included. And hopefully we'll see you around to play in some rain in the next couple of weeks. So good luck to you there.
Ooh, me likey. Yep, you'll see me.
Adios. And we'll move on now to our Porsche category. I don't see Christian Aranha waiting around for us, unfortunately. But I do have... looks like Austin Cobb is on deck. So let's chat with Austin. Position number 2 tonight in that 136. Man, you were working hard to get by DJ, and you had him a couple of times, but he is pesky. Take us through that battle up there with DJ, and what more could you have done to come out the other side?
Yeah, man, well, I'll tell you, that whole first half of the race was just a study session. I was just watching what DJ was doing, seeing where he was struggling, seeing where I could make some ground and hanging in that draft. But then, right about the time we started catching lap traffic, the gloves came off, and man, what another race. Whether it's Tom or DJ, man, I can't beat these guys, but we have a good time doing it.
Yeah, back and forth tons of times, and I think DJ passed you on the outside 3 or 4 times in that race, which made it even harder to watch from my perspective. Anytime you go side by side through those fast corners, I'm holding my breath. It seemed like brakes were a bit tricky for you. Were you playing with the brake balance at all to try to kind of move that braking performance around? Because DJ is just so good at finding the limit in the brakes.
Yeah, he's got so much time in the pickup. I think he's just really dialed on it. Yeah, I'm struggling a little bit with it, but I didn't mess with the brake bias. I knew it was fast and just had to learn to drive around it. So anytime I saw those lockup lights kicking on, it was just, panic mode to not try and loop the thing. But, man, super fun race. Yeah, a lot of side-by-side, a lot of respectful racing, and that's why we're here, man. Had a good time.
It was fun. I will say that a P-Cup is what you do when you need to take a drug test. Porsche Cup is what you were driving tonight. I always love it, Austin. Thanks for joining us tonight. That was super fun. Hell yeah, brother. And hopefully we'll see you
brother.
Play in the rain in the next couple of weeks. Thanks for talking with us, and we'll see you there.
Let's go.
All right, moving on now to DJ Alessandrini, and let's have a chat, DJ. You got to work for it, man. It's getting harder and harder and harder every single race. Austin had you a couple of times. but you were able to just slither right on back by. In the braking zone on the outside, it didn't seem to matter where you put your Lizard Brains Porsche. You found your way back to the front. Take us through that. How was your heart rate? Because if this was me, I'm soaking wet, sweating, and I'm ready to be in front of a fan.
Yeah, Austin and I were both pretty sweaty at the end of that race. Yeah, I think Austin just had more tire at the end of that race. My car was really, really hurting in right-handers. It was pretty tough to put the power down. And I think I drove a little bit too hard in the beginning of the race because there was a chance of me breaking the draft. And then I think I just kind of used up a little bit of the tire, and it kind of almost cost me at the end of the race there. I think that's what was going on.
Well, you win the championship, you win the race, and Finian was even quizzing me on some trivia earlier, and you had won every race of the season, started pulling every race in this season, and until this race led all but one lap. So as far as domination...
Oh, dang it! Austin, you son of a bitch.
No, not Austin in this race. It was the up into the start of this race, you missed one lap. I think you didn't lead. Well, you missed one lap at Daytona Road.
My lower thirds are broken. I wish I could tell you how many laps you... Actually, I could do it this way. Lap sled. How many did you get this time? Let's see. Of the 15, you led 13. So,
Austin took another one away from you.
Dang it, guys. All right. Let's go. Rack them and restack them. We're doing a whole nother season.
We got plenty of fun things coming up for the GRIDLIFE iRacers audience. So, DJ, thanks for organizing this each week, and congratulations on snagging another set of wins and another championship to your name. Thanks for chatting.
Yep, thanks, guys. Always appreciate it.
All right. Wow, fun time. Road America and GRIDLIFE. Not much of a better combo than that, Finian. Final thoughts on this season. We're not quite done. We're going to be racing some other things for some fun, playing with the weather things in the next couple of weeks. So that's what's coming up, but no more organized racing, at least for the short term.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can't wait to see what's in store for the rest of the season. But even looking back at this season for GT4 racing and the Porsche Cup cars, some fantastic stuff all across the board. Again, all throughout the field. Even in this race start right here, battles up near the front, battles in the middles, battles even near the rear of the pack. Some great stuff overall from these guys. And can't say they do too well of a job in 30 minutes. It almost doesn't feel like enough time. Well,
next time you see us, we're going to be on the Super Lap Battle live stream. Next weekend, we head to Circuit of the Americas for the Super Lap Battle event, and GRIDLIFE Touring Cup kicks off its first 4 races of the season. We've got a nice grid sized up for that one. We can't wait to see everybody there and see some faces after a long off season before we kick off our busiest year of GLTC ever. Always looking forward to it. Some new racetracks on the calendar, but we've kicked things off in COTA since 2019. We're going to do it just the same way this year in 2024. Make sure you check out the Super Lap Battle live stream. Make sure you head to grid.life and see the calendar for the year. A lot of the driving events are sold out, but make sure you check your ticket that you want to come join us in GRIDLIFE. Kyle Heyer alongside Finian D'Cunha, and we'll see you next time.